invited the 4 best chess players in the world.
I'm a chess grandmaster.
And I'm a chess grandmaster.
A chess grandmaster.
And I'm the best chess player in the world.
To the Esports World Cup here in Riyadh to answer the most controversial question in chess. Who is the best chess player of all time and why?
Garry Kasparov or Magnus Carlsen.
Would be Magnus Carlsen.
I would say Garry Kasparov.
I think, yeah, if pressed for a choice, I would probably go with Garry.
I have my own opinions on who's the best of all time. For myself, I have at least a few good years ahead of me, and then we can make an assessment after that.
What's the most savage trash talk you've heard during a game?
I haven't heard too much because, like, during a normal game, you're prohibited from speaking to your opponent.
You're not allowed to communicate in any way with your opponent, so I think, players become very unhappy with games. You might write something nasty to your opponent.
Be friends here. It's time to resign. You're down a piece.
But I think during the pandemic, there were definitely players, maybe myself included, who would sometimes lose a game and become a little bit unhinged.
I think we also have, like, just such a general culture of resigning. There was this recent case where Hikaru was playing, I think it was Justin Wang. It was in one of these chess.com events, and Hikaru was taking all of his pieces, and also at some point he was up like 30 points of material. And then his opponent wasn't resigning, and the whole game, which normally would take like 5 minutes, ended up taking half an hour, which held up the entire tournament, so everyone was getting really upset at this.
What's your favorite game of chess that you've ever played? Can you break it down for us?
I think my favorite game would be my game against Alexander Grishuk from the 2018 Candidates, the last round. And at some point it was clear that I wouldn't lose the game, and if I did, then I would qualify for the World Championship. But I ended up also winning the game, and it was a very good game, kind of stylish to end on a win when I only needed a draw.
The most important and most special game was probably Magnus Carlsen. World Rapid Championship in Warsaw 2021. I had 2 pawns and queen against queen and 1 pawn. I managed to win the game and I became World Rapid Champion, and after that my career went up. That was the breaking point for me, and that was a memorable game for me.
Do you agree that chess has been solved? Why or why not?
Chess is definitely not solved. It's way too difficult for us humans to play it well still. But I think it's been analyzed to the point where we've sort of gravitated a lot towards faster formats to make it a little bit more difficult for the players.
Oh, I don't think it's solved by any means. We've solved positions with 7 pieces on the board. Even with all our work on the technology, we're still very far from getting even to solving 8 pieces. But from the starting position, with all 32 pieces on the board, we're so far away from solving it even with engines, and even if we ever got there, it would be incomprehensible to humans.
What is the worst chess opening known to man, in your opinion? Why?
I mean, there are many terrible openings, but I think first move, let's say g4, is the probably worst start for white, and I would not recommend it.
I mean, there's a way for white to get checkmated after 2 moves. Even there's 2 like combinations of it. Basically, you move your f-pawn either 1 or 2 squares, black moves the e-pawn, which opens up the queen, and then you move your g-pawn 2 squares, and this is called fool's mate.
When you play g4, you create a huge weakness of your king, and also this pawn is not protected.
Other ways to get checkmated early on. This is another way that black makes 2 moves. The queen comes out early. The king, this is of course the worst possible move in the position by a huge margin, and then this is checkmate. I think after a few days of playing, or even a few hours, you learn to avoid those things, and it's a learning process. There are a lot of bad ways to start the game, and Garry Kasparov famously said that the opening is the most complicated position in chess.
At what point did you realize you could make a career out of chess?
When I became Grandmaster, when I was 13 years old, I realized that it's going to be my full-time job and that I have a very good potential to become top player, try to improve myself every day, and that's the ultimate goal, and one day to become a world champion.
How much of chess is talent versus hard work?
I would say 80% work and 20% talent. If you look at Magnus, let's say, his playing style is very intuitive, and you can kind of improve it fundamentally, but by nature it's kind of a feeling for the move and for position. That's what I would describe as a chess talent.
What's the fastest checkmate you've ever gotten?
I don't think I've checkmated very fast in any serious tournaments. I've certainly won a few quick games, but I cannot remember any quick checkmates.
I mean, I don't actually remember for sure, but I would think that early in my career I must have had the 4-move checkmate, also known as the scholar's checkmate, where you win the game in 4 moves.
What is the longest line that you know of by heart?
There are many lines, but probably there's a specific one within the Ruy Lopez defense once again that goes to like move 25 or move 30. So then you play this move bishop to b5, black moves this knight, castle, black takes the pawn, pushes pawn forward, knight goes back, trade the bishop for the knight, you take the pawn, knight comes here, you trade the queens, black takes with the king, move the knight, king comes here, push the pawn, black pushes this pawn, there's bishop to f4 here, black can play bishop to e7, there's rook a d1, bishop to e6, then it's knight g5, I think it's rook to h6, rook e1, I think black can take, white takes, something like rook g6, it's h4 if I remember correctly, something along the lines of like king to f8. So I don't know how many moves this is, but there are variations similar to this which go very far out into the endgame.
What is your current process for getting better at chess?
I don't feel like I'm improving much anymore. I learn like little new things all the time, but they don't fundamentally change the way that I look at the game. I feel these days I'm mainly trying to prepare for individual games as much as possible rather than trying to improve my understanding of the game.
As I said, by improving small things, just to be very consistent, maybe changing your training routine, changing your coach, trying as many approaches as possible to know yourself better. It depends on player because every player has his own approach, and by doing the right things, I think it's certainly achievable to make progress.
How many moves ahead do you usually think during a game? And is that more or less than what's typical for your level?
So in the game of chess, it depends really on how much time you have for the entire game. In slow games, it's much easier to do long calculations of 10 to 15 moves in the future. When you're playing these blitz games or the fast chess with, let's say, 3 minutes or 5 minutes or even 1 minute for the whole game, generally it's more on instinct, so it's 2 to 3 moves ahead. But when you do get very low on time, you are trying to pre-move and anticipate what your opponent will do.
I would say that in all the kind of main forcing openings, the best players know things more or less by heart in a lot of lines, 15, 20 moves deep at least. Sometimes you need to know 30 moves plus as well.
What's the best chess opening right now in your opinion?
There aren't any good openings these days, only bad openings that can be playable.
I think the best chess opening is very subjective.
Ruy Lopez?
The Ruy Lopez. Sure, yeah, so it'd be this pawn move, knight here, black guards pawn with the knight to guard this pawn, and then you move the bishop to b5.
It's very natural to develop pieces, and it's very sound opening.
One of the openings that is tried and tested for many decades is the Sicilian defense, and then after a few moves we get what's called the Nodirbek, which is named after a chess player, Polish-Argentinian chess player. This has been popular amongst so many world champions for so many decades and remains one of the best openings. There was a famous game between Hikaru and Nakamura where they just did this as a joke, and then once you repeat a position 3 times, it automatically is recorded as a tie.
Yeah, you could play the Bond clap, but that's more of a meme, not in a serious game.
The problem with chess openings is that everything's been analyzed to the point where it's not possible to play the best openings. I think you gotta have a flexible mindset and be able to play more or less everything.
Let's say you win the $250,000 chess prize at EWC. What's the first ridiculous thing you're buying?
It'll disappoint everyone to know that I'm not flashy. I won't be buying anything crazy.
I probably won't go crazy with the money if I win first prize.
Some supercar, green.
Well, if anything, I mean, I'd probably buy a nice handbag for my wife, so that's what I would do.